You just are so ungrateful. You're such a horrible person to be around. You're so charming, Mica. He said to me, actually, this is probably the one thing that's probably stuck with me since then. He was like, you're so good at playing the victim. You know that? And I just burst into tears. I actually burst into tears. For some reason, everything that's ever happened to me my whole entire life just kind of flashed through my eyes. Just every time that I'd been manipulated or put in a bad situation, it was just like, I believed him. Like, I fully believed him. I fully believed him that I was playing the victim and the things that happened to me weren't real. And I just actually can't believe that I believed him. Like, it's nuts. And I think about that every single day. Every single day I think about that, oh, you're just playing the victim. Hi, I'm Mica Ellie Hill, and I've dealt with a lot of coercive behaviour within my relationships. And it's something that I found important to channel into my own photography work. And it's always been important in my work to have feminist and female issues within my work, and Spellbound kind of came from that. It was a combination of wanting to stand up for women, but also being able to voice my own story as well, and they've come together to create Spellbound. And now from that, it's kind of birthed this big massive project, and I'm taking a bunch of images to tell my own story. But I have to wait until July. This is easier than I thought it would be. I'm currently cutting and hammering a canopy in a tree for the first shoot that we're doing. The image basically kind of represents her being in her own bubble.
I think it would just come pre-cut. Can something that's meant to be like that.
Is that high enough? Yeah. So it was weird, that time period. It was too mentally ill people falling in love. Like, that's what this story is. I knew the things that I liked, but I never really knew who I was, and I was so involved with kind of him. I think he kind of consumed my life. I kind of thought that, okay, I've got someone who loves me and that cares about me. I've got somebody who needs me every single day to look after them, who literally needs me to function. He had no sense of emotional regulation.
Hello, I'm Mica Ellie. I play the role of the fairy character on Spellbound. I have a background in filmmaking as well as film journalism, and also a little bit of modelling on the side. Mica, try something big on faster or less shoot. I goes, no. So I said no at first, so I went, no, you're going to freeze. And she went, no, it's just one, and it'll be warmer by the time we do it, and it would be, it would be outside.
The mirror shoot was actually something that was more overly complicated than I anticipated it to be. We tried a multitude of different setups and lightings, and nothing really stuck with me until we decided to bring out candles.
You just put the foot down and walked away. Hello, I'm gonna need a light in my mirror. I get to be all pretty and fairy lights and put little butterflies in my hair and wear purple sparkly dresses. And then I'm sat in the freezing cold for hours in the dark, very late at night. I do like the whole idea that it's portrayed through this childlike fairy tale, because it's a wee bit different rather than just being like, here's something really dramatic and scary. Because it's still dramatic and scary, but it is a bit nicer as well. It's nicer to look at, but also more unsettling to look at. Because she's like, oh, this is so nice and pretty, and then you're like, whoa, what the bleep.
I'm kind of hating every aspect of this. I was writing about him, and this was like just after we'd gotten together, and I was like, oh, I just don't feel like special around him. I don't really feel like very womanly. I don't feel very beautiful. He doesn't make me feel special. And I was like, the part that kind of hit me is that I don't feel nice. He knew, he always said to me the whole relationship, he was like, oh, you're too good for me, blah, 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 blah. He knew if I had any self-worth, I would have left him, and that's exactly what happened. I don't really feel loved or in my own boyfriend, but then it's like he needs me every day, and there's a part in that where it's like, I need someone too. I can't look after you every day, and I won't allow it, but I did allow it for like a year.
And you're still making me lie down here.
The flower shoot was actually something that was really overly simplistic. It was basically, I just bought a bunch of fake flowers and real ones to use for the actual shoot, and I got Nia to throw them about to symbolise her anger. It was a lot of fun. It was basically just hippy dippy flower power in the forest.
Hi, my name's Amy. I'm the behind the scenes photographer for Spellbound, and I also work on the zine along with Mica and Fiona. I've been doing photography now for about 2 years. I used to study at college, but halfway through the year I decided that it was better as a hobby, and I like to do it for more of my own pleasure than the grades and the whatever else. So what I do behind the scenes is basically I follow Mica around like a lost puppy, and I photograph everything that she does, and I photograph the process of the photos and the filming and what most people won't really see, and also photograph the dedication of the team here on Spellbound. The camera I use is a Nikon ZFC. I like it because it's mirrorless and it's got like a fancy little screen on the back.
You went straight
editing process was relatively fairly simplistic. For a majority of the images, it was basically making sure that I could create a preset to put through them all and that they just still looked concise together, just like tweaking little pieces in it. But then I got to the flower image where my Photoshop essentially just didn't work. So I messaged Josh and asked if he could come over. He edited the image, so what ended up happening was we would use the lasso tool to select pieces of petals from other images, and we put them over, and I just selected them, and then he'd do it for me because he's great. He was dependent on weed, and that was a really big thing during our relationship. He had like a really hard, really tragic upbringing, and a lot of the reasons why he wasn't his fault. And I think for a very long time I kind of was like, it's just the way he's been brought up, it's not his fault, he can learn, but he hasn't learned. It was like basic human connection he didn't understand. It was treating people with respect that he didn't understand. It was he could treat everybody else in his life fine, but not me.
We ended up having to trail to Glasgow to look for a few of the props, as for some reason I couldn't find most of them in Ayr.
And I need them all golden. Even this, actually.
I know, it's probably too much.
No, it's
That's
fine.
too far.
Even that on the table would be good. I just feel like...
So I ended up going on a hunt for a tea set, and then Alistair's suit jacket, which we were able to find.
You guys want to have a wee wander around while I wrap this up for you?
Hello, I'm Alistair Dunley, and I'm one of the models in Mica's project, and I play the role of the fox. For this shoot, I am obviously dressing up as the fox. I'll be in a nice three-piece outfit with some fancy shoes and the fox mask.
Yeah, no, I think that would work.
And I will be, from what my understanding is, having some form of influence over the main character. I'll be representing, taking away piece by piece from her, invading personal space.
Oh, a new model.
I think that one's better because
one,
it's
yeah.
bigger on your back.
Oh, I'm so far away. Someone just did that.
We've done it.
We did it. We did it.
We're doing a shoot today. We're doing the two images with Alistair that don't really involve any props. So we're doing the two initial shots with Nia and Alistair.
Fox is taking away the main character's innocence, and generally he's just being creepy, is what I'm going to say. I think Fox is a representation of who everyone should not be. The Fox is overall is very clearly not a good man, and that there is no joy in Fox's life apart from perversion.
Got it. Meow. This is really cool. I'm happy with this.
I met Mica 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I just thought, wow, she's quite nice. She'll make a good friend. And about 4 years later, I've found several rabbit holes of 3 AM phone calls, of mental breakdowns, and this guy's done this and she's done that, and overall 4 years of gossip and drama that I think would break me if I remembered it all. I think it's a very interesting situation. Like, Mica's a very interesting person. I think she's a lovely person. And I'm very happy to be her friend. I'm very happy to have helped her develop and achieve.
Hi guys, just take your time here.
Let's go. Right, go. Walk.
It's not my place to say what's happened or where it's happened or who's happened. It's just my place to make sure that she's alright. I know that Mica one day will be an absolute incredible photographer, film star, or whatever she wants to do. And I know that I just pass by, I just make sure she's alright. Phone her every once in a while, check up on her, and nothing's changed. I was phoning her, checking up on her a year ago. I was doing it 2 years ago, I was doing it 3 years ago, I'm doing it now. I help Mica through thick and thin, and I'll do so.
If I had like Alistair in my room, or if I was seeing Alistair, he would get so jealous and start accusing Alistair of liking me and all this stuff. And I think if you watch this, or if you know me and Alistair, that's just not the case. And he used to get so pissed off about it, and was at this point he was like, I don't want Alistair being in your room. If I don't like it, it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Hi, Lena. Come on, turn the room.
Turn right. And then I need you to go more to your left. And then forward a bit. Yep. Then stay there. Now how come your arms are flying every grabbing onto this, grabbing
Whatever weird thing we've got it. So just obviously with the gravity of the story of Spellbound and Alice's character, obviously the theme surrounding it is coercive control, so I thought it was important to bring somebody else in who can give you the factual details rather it just be me spewing out my story and being like, this has happened to me. And I didn't want to do something that wasn't accessible to everybody watching, so that's why I decided to go with Women's Aid, and especially because there is a home base in my hometown and it just felt kind of right. And the women that we've been working with as well are just like amazing.
Coercive control includes intimidation, manipulation, gaslighting, threats. It's a form of domestic abuse. It's the most prevalent form of domestic abuse. It's a harm that is perpetrated in adult relationships, young people's relationships.
I'm Shirley, I'm the manager here at South Ayrshire Women's Aid.
My name is Leah Connolly and I'm a training worker here at South Ayrshire Women's Aid.
Women's Aid are here to support women, children, young people who have experienced domestic abuse. That could be they're living with it, or it could be that they had it in the past.
Coercive control is a term that was pioneered by an American social worker, Evan Stark, who tried to help everyone understand that domestic abuse is not just physical violence.
So we have a process that's called a risk assessment, which can tease out a lot of information from somebody that's experiencing domestic abuse. They might not recognise it themselves. And that's regardless whether they've got any sort of disability or anything, they might not recognise it themselves because it becomes the norm. At Pan-Ayrshire we have the MARAC, which is the Multi-Agency Risk Assessment Conference. It's like a multi-agency, the housing around the table, police, fire, social work, health, Women's Aid and any other voluntary organisation assist are there. So it's everybody sits around the table and it's all about reducing the risk to the victim.
As a training worker, so one of the roles in this post is to go into schools and to have conversations with young people in classrooms about healthy relationships.
We're finding that more and more young people have got domestic abuse in their own relationships. It's not just the parents that have maybe they've had it with experience with parents that's in their own relationships. Now we're finding that a lot, particularly in secondary schools. The MATAC is about the multi-agency task coordination. It's about targeting serial perpetrators where they may have other criminality that the police could target. It's about another multi-agency thing that we all sit around the table and share information. Over the age of 12, children themselves can access without us having to have the parents' permission. It's always best if we can get the parents' permission, but on a lot of occasions young people not even disclose to their parents.
One of the things that we see more and more now is around what's happening with technology and apps. So for folks who might be constantly texting on their phone, so your somebody's phone might be going ding, ding, ding. Questions around where are you, what are you doing, who are you spending your time with.
Doesn't matter how many times you tell them to delete it. Sometimes it's easier for a woman to know where a perpetrator is and what he's up to than it is not to know at all. So we'll go in and check it. But social media's got a lot to play, particularly for young people. Years ago, when I was at school, so many years ago, you went home and your safe space was home. And now that abuse control you through the use of social media. The DISDAS is the Disclosure Scotland Domestic Abuse Scheme. The DISDAS is where women or victims can actually make an application to it's either power to tell or the right to ask. And it's about their partner, their current partner, to see if there's anything in his past in relation to domestic abuse. And they can put this request through the police website.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very simple form to fill in. Just like to thank you for inviting us to and giving us this opportunity to raise awareness, and it's absolutely amazing that it's been built on somebody's own life experience. But thank you for this chance to help raise awareness of domestic abuse, particularly with control.
Imagine if she watched it and she's like, why is my parrot in this film?
That would be great.
Whenever I'd see him, he'd literally just want me. Like, he'd just want me, like, in his bed with him, like, not leaving me alone. Like, he wouldn't give me space. We would never, like, go out and do anything. We'd never, like, go on dates or do cute things. Like, I remember being, like, really excited about it. I had, like, properly, thoroughly planned everything out. I'd planned the trains. I had planned the time that we were going to go. I would plan, like, the time that we had to get back to go out for dinner. I had everything planned. The one thing that I asked for him to do was, can you, like, book somewhere for us to go to dinner, or you can even, like, pick somewhere.
Hello, my name's Cade. I'm the composer for Spellbound.
Yeah, as a whole for Spellbound, the music process has been hard, but because I've got a good cello player with me and we jam easily, it's been so much more easier to get it done.
There were a few issues with working online. When we did meet up and do a rehearsal, it was a lot better. Hello, I'm Olivia Martin. I am one of the composers and lyricist of Spellbound.
Me and Liv, we're not together at all, and I asked about, if it was possible to kind of maybe just get a rehearsal day together. I mean, I can go off and do certain things, but it's a difference in certain musicians like to jam with each other. I'm just doing head composing for everything on acoustic guitar and mostly the cello parts, because it's counter melodies, which are basically the exact same. Liv adds her own, add notes to it.
I was, when all of this stuff was going on with Mica, I was always there for her. And I was with her when it was all happening.
It's really good to make something that's like emotional, because I know I'm doing my job right. Especially with this, obviously, film and it being so heavy based. You really want to be drawn into what's just going on, even though it can be mythical and fairy tale. This is real things that actually happen to people in the sense that it's dramatised.
Yeah, we were just so good. We actually made Mica cry. It actually was that good. It made me cry, to be honest. More than once. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
It's cool to be working with, somebody who is mainly women-based and driven. So I think that's a really cool thing.
The project is something I relate to, which is why I like to be one of the people working on it. And it's also not run by a man, so he can't put any misleading things into it. Plus, it's easier to work with women.
It is a very long process sometimes if you don't know what you're doing. I mean, in the beginning, when Mica asked me to do Spellbound, I was a bit, because I've never done this kind of stuff before. I've never worked on a project in this sense.
Barney from Carlton Studios has been absolutely amazing. When he found out that we were doing it, around the subject of coercive control, he immediately helped straight away, because his wife worked for Women's Aid for 30 years. It hit very close to home. The sound guy, Kevin's amazing as well. It's just been so great working with Carlton Studios. They gave us recording studios completely for free. They let us use their equipment. It was great.
Kind of started when I got there, so I met him at the station. I was like, I'm going to warn you now, I'm like absolutely exhausted. And I remember we were on the train. I think I don't even remember what I was saying. I remember I was just basically speaking, and he kept being like, you're being so snappy, you're being so blah blah blah, you're being horrible. And I was like, how am I being horrible? I was like, I've booked us a whole date because we never go on dates, so you're not excited to spend time with me. He was just relentlessly telling me I was basically what I was saying was wrong and rude and horrible, and I was being absolutely terrible to him, but I wasn't saying anything bad.
The heart shape was kind of where the whole idea from Spellbound originated from. I had this idea about someone giving a heart to somebody else and having that symbolise that idea of losing yourself and having that identity stripped away from you. We started off by doing a test shoot just to make sure the positions of hands and things like that were all okay, and then that's when we went into our first shoot. The first shoot was actually probably the most stressful out of the bunch. There were so many people there, we were having so many technical difficulties. My batteries were just not cooperating. There was just so much going on at the one time. It was a lot colder than we predicted it to be as well. Everything just kind of was a bit jumbled up, but we managed to get that resolved.
I think it's very handsome. No one could really stop that. It's very... The only way this Spellbound is fluttery. Oh, is it? Oh, very fluttery.
We realised though afterwards, I think about 3 shoots into it, that we forgot fake blood, which was kind of the whole purpose of the heart shoot, was to have that childlike fairy tale sense with it mixed with this horrendous, horrible gore. So we ended up having to reshoot it, and this is when I started to bring candles and fire into it, which in my opinion just makes everything better.
Alice's character is essentially controlling my character completely. Like, as soon as we're introduced, he's got full control over everything, and picked up and taken away from my little idyllic place, my nice little fluttery fairy woods area, and then I'm in a darker place because it's literally at night, it's dark. There's no one else around us. It's not like there's any other sense of safety. He's came into my nice little tea party, and that's been taken away from me. And then obviously, Alice's character is all creepy. The guy in a full suit with like a kid's playing Ted Foxmarks. So it's almost like I see the really dress up thing. Like, you've got these two characters that are like playing dress up.
So when we got there, we couldn't find the place, and it was really busy, so I was just really stressed out, and I was like, can you please just find the place? I physically, I'm gonna cry. It was fine. We got there, it was literally around the corner. We were just silly. We got there and it was fine, and it was really nice. Then we got back, I was like, oh, so where, are we going for dinner? What's kind of the plan? And he was like, oh, I don't know. Oh, I did look. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, why don't we just go back to yours and order something? Because I was still felt really bad because I'd apparently been horrible to him all day when I'd paid for things and planned the day, and I just felt like I was being horrible to him. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to fuss because I don't want to upset him, even though he's perfectly okay to upset me.
Hi, my name's Fiona Evans. I'm a multi-instrumentalist, pagan artist and photographer. So I got a frantic phone call. It was to do with creating some guitar parts and music parts.
Hi, I'm Ruthie Henry and I'm the artist for Spellbound.
Inspiration for the poster were it to be 1920s and 1930s. So for the frame, I was inspired by some old mirrors that we have in my house, and I just took a photo of that and turned black and white so I could try and copy it.
The zine is probably the thing that I'm probably most excited about. We literally just went to Cafe Nero in Ayr and we just sat down, got laptops open, got notebooks. We kind of just spoke about how we wanted to have individual pages for everybody. Everyone would have a spread each, and they would be really personal to all the different members, and we decided on the order of it.
So I was going to make his name under Spellbound on the banner, but it didn't fit, so I just decided to put it underneath the banner.
You know, we thought of colour palettes, images that we're going to use, and what type of photographs we're going to take. We wanted to kind of go for, I don't know, kind of a 90s, 2000s kind of vibe. Almost not quite a scrapbooky kind of thing.
So I kind of in tune to the frame around the heart and the bottom
to kind of look more like thorns and more jaggy, so that it's a bit more evil.
Yeah, make sure you keep getting late, like text messages frantically asking you to do favours.
So we continued the walk back to his, and we basically stopped in the middle of a really busy street, and he basically just started yelling at me. He was like, "You've been horrible to me all day, you've been really snapping, you've been this," and I'm like, "No, I genuinely haven't been." At this point, I kind of started to get annoyed that he'd been saying this, and I was like, "I haven't been, I really don't understand what you're talking about." And I remember being like, "Can you please just explain it to me?" And he just wouldn't tell me, and he was like, "If you want to just go, just go." And I was like, I don't want to, and he kept saying it, and he was like, "If you want to just go, just go." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll go, I don't really want to be here." So I started walking away, and he was like, "What are you doing? Come back. And I was like, "I'm going, you've just told me to go. I don't really want to keep arguing with me on the street. Like, I'm finding this really embarrassing, and this is like my worst nightmare. Like, I'm really upset, and I'm really overstimulated, and this is not what I want to be doing right now." So he was like, "Let's just walk back to mine." So I was like, okay. At this point, I was confused. I didn't know what he wanted. I didn't know what was going on. I remember like profusely apologising to him. And then he like sat on his bed and just kind of kept looking at me, and I kept being like, "Come over here, like I want a hug, can you come over here?" He was like, "No, you don't want me to touch you." But I'm like, "I'm asking you to come over here." And I was like, and he was like, "No, you're repulsed by me, you don't want me anywhere near you. Why would you? I'm shit, I'm terrible, I'm horrible." We went on this whole spiel about how I deserve better and all this stuff, and that I should leave him and all these things and blah blah blah. I remember I sat next to him and I started like cussing into me, and he kept being like, "I don't, like, why are you doing this? Stop it. I don't deserve this, blah, blah, blah. I don't deserve this." I remember basically literally having like to beg him to hug me, and I don't think we actually resolved it.
This is where I will go.
The dinner table was probably one of the most physically attributing shits that we've ever done. We had to carry this big massive dinner table over to Belial Woods, and it was such a weird way to end the story in a hole with such a physical toll. And Mia was there, and it was fun. She was just happy to be there. I love Mia.
Yeah, I'm going to need people to move. This is where I need to Mica Ellie Hill vision things. Can you get this out the box away from me? It's tism noise.
I actually couldn't find a dinner table, and when I did, me and Ben had to drive up country roads screaming, trying to find it. We got to the house, we ended up overpaying. They offered us chairs, and I needed the chairs, but there was no room for chairs, so we had to leave them. We got there.
And give a double decker bus.
That was my plan.
Let's try and get like wee stuff, and I think just mix those bits in, so our hearts aren't like that big.
Mine's is, I've got a heart. Ryan was not entertained at all.
So guys, you come here often?
The images. Help! This hasn't happened before. Okay, well I have more than severely gotten what I wanted.
And I think he had this kind of idea in his head of who I was, and I think because I was a bit mucked up and didn't know who I was, I think kind of alarm bells started to go off. I think he just kind of didn't like that. And when I started to become more of my own person, he also kind of didn't like that. Like when I started to say to him, look, I want to go on dates and I want to do things and I want you to come around my friends, he didn't like that because he saw that as me not wanting to be just around him. I think he saw that as, oh no, she's bringing other people now, she doesn't want to be around me, I'm blah blah, and it just was so dramatic, that whole relationship. It was so twisted and so fucked. He wanted me to be his and nobody else's, and he didn't kind of understand that I was a personate with him and didn't let me be personate with him.
Smoke. We did a thing.
So I'm the one that's left having to feel like shit every day. I'm the one that's left with PTSD. I'm the one that's left with this anxiety. I'm the one that's left not being able to get into a normal relationship with having like a bunch of fucking red flags and warning labels attached to me and they just get off scot-free. And I'm angry about it. Like, I'm so angry about it. Like, they don't deserve to just get away with it, but they do, and they can. And that's something as well that's really important to me with this project, is that these people can just get away with it, but then I'm the one that has to suffer the consequences of their actions. And it fucking sucks. It really sucks. I'm just so angry at them, and I'm really angry at myself for letting it happen. But it's like completely just fucked my whole life over, basically. Yay!